Welcome to our second feature match for week 3 here for Foundations League. We got a good one here. Hopefully, we got Jordan M. So, one of our top performers, really ever on our server here. We'll be watching him, and he's taking on Joaquin, who has been a pretty consistent performer since his arrival here with a couple of top eights in the past year. So, what's going on over there in Joaquin's hand?
Looks like we got a green-blue deck with no blue sources. He's got a Scooz that's going to come out now.
Oh, sorry, I was watching Jordan.
Oh, you're watching. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
my bad.
all
Hold
good,
on. We'll fix it.
all
We'll
good.
fix it.
Yeah. So
Uh,
we see Jordan's hand here, hoping to draw some lands of any kind, really. What do we got going on the other side? Not too much to talk about here.
I think Joaquin is currently streaming his Discord, and
Oh,
not
so
his arena.
maybe all right. So if you or someone could message him,
I'll message him.
we can check out Jordan here in the meantime. Talking about, so I believe he was on the play here and just kept a two-lander with only one thing to do. So that's it's one of the more risky keeps, but Jordan's an excellent player. When you look at the standings, we see him in the top 8 here at 10-4. Um, if the hand works out, he gets to play basically all most of his cards. He does have the solemn there eventually, but when it doesn't work out, we get a 2-minute game here. So I don't know how much he saw from his opponent to know that he wants to sideboard something, but looks like he brought in. He's bringing in a 0-6 wall. Just he saw gruel type things, and he said, "Let me bring in some blockers." Yeah. Did we get Joaquin's stream up yet?
He has not responded to a message, so
All right. Yeah. So the other option is somebody can message Jordan, and then he can message him in game, perhaps if he's not checking his Discord. But
I'll
we would
message
like
him too.
to try and get that stream up. We see Jordan; he is doing a bit of sideboarding here. I guess he saw some gruel stuff, and he said, I can maybe get some stuff against that. So we do see a base green blue deck with 5 red cards here. Uh, 4 of which are removal, and Bone Crusher Giant comes out as a creature later. The other is Kellen. So yeah, I mean, if you look at the standings, he's doing great, 10-4. Joaquin's doing good too, 6-3, but he's really just starting his week here. Looks like he's dropping a counter spell for more bodies. Yeah, that could work. Looks like he's going to give the message here so we can see both streams.
Yep, we got it up.
Oh, cool. All right, perfect. Good to know.
Yeah. Okay, I'm in the dark.
You are?
Well, I was sort of trying to, work behind the scenes, so
Okay.
I can't believe we're done with game 1 already.
Yeah, Jordan, he missed his third line drop like 3 times and then conceded because his opponent just played a couple 2 drops and then a 4 drop, and he had nothing going on. he kept the 2-lander on the play with only one play. It's a risky one, and it didn't work out. No further analysis required there.
Fair enough.
The only thing I could possibly say is that um, I probably mulligan that, but he wins more than me, so here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
But we have Joaquin's stream up and running there.
We do. I can tell
Okay,
you what's in his
perfect.
hand.
Great.
So he's got 1 mountain and no other lands. So quickly mulliganed. He had the most exciting card was the Nasika's Chariot in his hand, but he had to ship it back.
I'm a fan.
Now he's looking at a 2-lander. He's going to ship back a Sower of Chaos, keeping a
Okay.
Burst Lightning, a Breakneck Berserker, a Cackling Prowler, and a Sheevan Dragon.
He's looking to be a pretty just gruel big stuff, I think. So
What
Jordan
it
was
seems like.
so Jordan mulliganed a hand that was vaguely reminiscent of his keep in the last game. However, he did not have a two drop in the hand, so he decided not to keep it. And now he's stuck needing lands here. He has three blue cards in his hand. He has a Fiery Annihilation and a Snakeskin Veil. He put a mountain on the bottom. Just reds his splash, so I guess he figured didn't need another source of red in my hand. But you don't expect your Llanowar to die on turn one, but the bird was bolted.
Yeah, always a good choice to bolt the bird.
Yeah, so this
Walk.
Breakneck Berserker, obviously not like not a standout card in any way, shape, or form. But Jordan just said it's going to beat me down. I can't cast any spells. Well, now he can because he's getting his island, and so he just uses Fiery Annihilation on it, which is a very very good removal. You usually save that for something a bit more threatening, but he said I can't afford to do that right now.
Yeah, Joaquin draws his fourth land here to open up the Sower and the Cackling Prowler. He's gonna put the Sower of Chaos, I guess, in the way first.
Yeah, so I don't know how many like four power matters stuff he has to run this. Like that's a card you probably want to a lot of the time you want it to be your first card cut, um, or one of the first cards cut. But if he's if it's like towards the top of his curve and he's pretty aggressive, it can be okay.
Yeah, and I think the idea with the Prowler maybe is that with the Ward tacked onto it, if Jordan has more removal, it kind of takes up more of the turn.
Yeah. So Jordan has left up his snakeskin veil here, maybe hoping
Well,
to get a little two for one perhaps if Joaquin tried to do something there. But this crackling prowler is going to be a pain. I mean, he's got a ice wind elemental he can play, but that's just a 3/4 versus a 5/4 that can get bigger. Like this
yeah, and notably,
prowler, yeah.
Joaquin has a Snakeskin Veil of his own.
Okay, so we may have a snakeskin standoff here. Um, this cackling prowler, like it almost never makes the cut, but every time my opponent plays it, I'm like thoroughly annoyed. I'm like, dang, it's a 5/4, and then it becomes a 6/5, and it's like nothing I play is can trade with it, and my removal costs more. But
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
it still just like doesn't make the cut most of the time in my decks, but I can't quite pinpoint why. Because it usually is quite the problem.
Absolutely. Joaquin puts a Scavenging Ooze on the stack, and then he
Yeah.
checks his mana as to see why it didn't tap a mountain for him.
Because it's arena.
Uh-huh.
Arena says you have two different colors of mana. Let me give you access to both. It's just that simple.
Which is a real bummer because it's a bit of a telegraph to that he's going to hold up the Snakeskin Veil. Um, so he's only going to get one in before Jordan can get the rest of the triggers off of
Yeah,
his ooze.
yeah.
Oh no, he's just
This reminds me of when I used to play Standard way back in the day, like 10 years ago when I first started playing. There was scavenging ooze mirrors all the time. It was not particularly fun, but yeah, scavenging ooze is just a great card. It's like almost like becoming like a classic Magic card here. It's just so simple and so effective at what it does.
yeah. You hate to be facing it down for sure.
It's so irritating. Yeah, if you can't kill it right away, it just removes your threshold. You can never buy back your creatures from the graveyard. Just a menace. All for 2 mana.
All for 2 mana.
So Jordan's gonna get his cackling prowler out here to have a standoff here. But based on the life totals, Jordan has to be pretty careful here. He does have the snakeskin veil, so removal. He can survive a removal spell here.
Yeah, and just a reminder, Joaquin's other card besides Forest that he just drew, and then the Veil is that Shivan Dragon, which he can't cast.
Shivan
So speaking of
Dragon, how the
classic
mighty have
cards,
fallen.
I know.
Like I think I was listening. I don't remember. I think it must have been like limited resources set review, and they were like in mourning. They're like, I think we just have to give it a D, even though it's Shivan Dragon. Like Karst
Yeah,
is, it's like it just doesn't do anything. It's like 6 mana for just a big flyer. Like who cares, kind of. And it's an uncommon now. It's like the world has changed, you know.
definitely a bummer. But does Jordan have a way to deal with it if
Well,
the big flyer
he
comes
has
down?
his. Oh no, no, not the big flyer. No, no.
No.
I was gonna say he does have his own Snakeskin Veil. So Snakeskin Veil just used as a combat trick here. Um, so we're gonna have two Snakeskin Veils and two Prowlers in the graveyard, and Joaquin's gonna have first crack at growing his ooze now.
Yeah, and I think he'll just dump all of his mana into it. He might as well.
Yeah, so Joaquin having four green sources versus Jordan's two has been a big deal here. He says, "I will eat the creatures, thank you."
Hmm.
I'm not sure what Jordan can really all do about this. He has Icewind Elemental in hand. That's not going to be serving much purpose. Is the I assume all the creatures are cleaned out of the graveyard now.
I believe that's
Yeah.
correct.
Otherwise, he would have just kept on going. Oh, Jordan's checking the graveyards, sees no creatures, says, "Time for the incinerating blast I just drew." And that is very timely because one more creature in the graveyard, and he would not be able to do this.
Sometimes they just have it all.
Yeah, Looking says, I'll munch on a couple more cards from your graveyard, but won't grow the ooze here." So very timely top deck because this ooze was threatening to really get out of control, and now Jordan might be stable. I mean, if Joaquin lands a Shivan Dragon, it'll kill him in 2 turns. Jordan's deciding now
Yeah,
if he wants to discard his Elemental, the 5 mana 3/4 that loots.
it's an interesting decision. He's going to keep it. Okay.
No, I'm gonna keep it. Like it's too good to not keep. I think. Like it's not game breaking, but it's useful.
Yeah.
What do we got
So
here?
Joaquin's drawn a Seer Slicer Goblin, which is a great card. I love this card, but it's not going to do any work here.
Yep, this card's been real good in drafts. So scavenging ooze, eating the scavenging ooze as nature intended, perhaps.
That's right.
All right, so here comes Elemental. He'll get to ditch away this forest that he drew for turn, or this island that he drew off of the Elemental. I guess he'll keep the forests because of the scavenging ooze. But yeah, don't think he can attack just yet. There's a Llanowar Elves. Okay.
Yep. Right. Right when you don't want it.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it last week or maybe the week before or both. Um, I kind of think Llanowar Elves is just like it's a fine card, but I think it's overrated and limited a little bit. It really like games where it's played on turn one are just so different from games where it's played any turn after, and like in a bad way.
Yeah. And are you if you put one in, are you messing with your land count at all or no?
It depends on how high the curve goes. Not sure, but I think it was. I remember it being good in when it was in Dominaria, which was the last time we had it limited. But I think it's quite a few steps down nowadays.
Yeah, so
But
Joaquin drew a giant growth, so he's trying to figure out what attacks he can make to
ooh,
maybe get
okay,
a blowout and at least get a token going off of the
yeah.
goblin.
Well, I am sure that anybody who plays Standard is must be thrilled to get to play with Llanowar Elves for 5 years straight,
I'm sure they are.
because that is
Although, what was that standard? I'm not familiar.
yeah, I've heard of it, but
Okay.
it's this thing people do. But all right, so he's attacking here. He's gonna decide which creature he wants. Yeah, I guess this way it's just all trades across the board. Jordan says, "Let me grab something on the way out." That being the giant growth, and all right, we got a wary thespian here, so nice little draw.
Yep, absolutely.
A wary thespian, it's kind of like it was. This card was really good in Dustmore, right? As the dog, the wary
Hmm.
watchdog, and then in this set, there's so many one power creatures. There's so many like tokens. It's like the Wary Thespian is like so much worse, and it's like it's the same card in back-to-back sets, and like one of them it's like desirable, and the other one it's like I don't care if I have Wary Thespians in my deck or not.
Yeah.
Just funny
It
how
went. It definitely went from like, oh, I guess I need a 2-drop to being like, oh, this is a sweet 2-drop.
yeah, like it was good in Dustmorn. Like we dump stuff in the graveyard for Delirium, just it just worked. Well, here's the big boy.
Here's the clock.
And we got a Charm Sleep off the top. So nice pickup
Oh,
there.
okay.
Wow. So he picked up the Incinerating Blast the turn that he needed to kill the Scavenging Ooze before it got too big from the next creature dying, and Charm Sleep off the top now to keep himself alive. And just the land here. So pretty bad for Joaquin. We got 2 lands in hand for Jordan. He's drawn the Kellen, which the card's good. On the splash, I like it a little bit less because it's you won't be able to activate it as
Yeah.
as quickly. And yeah, but I mean, card is powerful.
Okay. Well, we got another big creature coming down here.
How big?
He's slow rolling us
Okay,
a little bit.
I mean that's big. All right, we got Bone Crusher Giant. That's a nice one. Again, another one that's like a little worse on the splash, just because like when you draw it late, you can't cast both halves of it.
Right. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
because I mean, like neither half of the Bone Crusher Giant is like an excellent card. 2 mana for a shock is fine. 3 mana for a 4/3 is fine. But yeah, so he's gonna hold it here. I suspect if Joaquin tries to do something, he'll use it. I mean, if the game keeps going like this, the lands are actually like real draws now for Joaquin because of this 5/3.
yeah, and if he can take some bad attacks because he's going to get it replaced with another goblin and just
Yeah,
start
draw
chipping some damage in.
draw for turn is a light shell duo. Yeah, whenever you surveil like lands away this late in the game, it just feels like you've you've jumped ahead. Like he gets to skip not having to draw 2 lands. Like that's so huge. All right, what do we got here for him? All right, well, he does have a singular elf, so here comes
We're
elf
going
tokens.
wide.
Are these elf tokens the same creature, but like just different art? Are they both elf warriors?
I think
Yeah.
so.
All right. Okay, so Jordan's drawn an ambush wolf here, so yeah, just these. This is just going to be a bit of a stare down here, but he is going to get in with the Kellen, hoping to maybe uh, blow something out and block with a Bone Crusher Giant, or just trade for 2 creatures. Yeah, so with no cards in hand, Jordan knows that most of the blocks his opponent can get blown out by a Bone Crusher Giant. So with 4 cards in hand for Jordan, Joaquin is likely to try and block with as many things as possible here. Oh, okay. He just put all his most low value targets, and Jordan said, "I'll still take the deal." I would have liked to kill one of your juicier targets, but we'll settle for this. And Kellen has cleaner attacks now. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that was quite a big shift as far as the board state goes.
yeah. I mean, just see these 1/1s coming down. I mean, it's gonna keep Joaquin alive here, but unfortunately, doesn't have too much going. Jordan's trying to figure out when he can turn the tide, and you know, players like him, he'll know when it's time. He'll figure it out.
Yeah, you got to think it soon, right?
I imagine it's somewhat soon. I mean, he gets to attack with Kellen no matter what, and then he gets to decide if he wants to attack with anything else. Could be the Light Shell duo, but Light Shell duo blocks nicely.
Yeah, I mean the flyer would be an okay trade too there. So okay,
Yeah, like
we're
he
going.
wants that 5/3 giant off the board. So
Yeah,
Joaquin's unlikely to block with it. Yeah, so he's whittling down Joaquin's troops here one by
yeah.
one
Joaquin
until
Joaquin gave
we
us
get
the
very little
oops
left.
there. I wonder if he forgot about the double strike maybe, or I don't know what the oops was.
I mean, Callan's off the board. Maybe he could have blocked such a way to lose less things, but I think, yeah, yeah, I think he lost a couple tokens needlessly.
Oh, it was a retroactive oops.
Yeah, because what did he block with? He blocked with the 2/1 and like a token or something. Well, Jordan says the time is now. I'm not afraid really of too much of anything. The draw for the turn was Enchanted Carriage, which is that artifact from Eldraine that makes two mouse tokens, the vehicle.
Interesting. So we've got to bite
Very,
down,
very
so that's going to
flavorful.
change the math a little bit here. But
I mean, he's still taking like 10 damage or so.
yeah, Joaquin is currently counting.
Yeah, he's taking upwards of 10 damage. He kills something, trades with something, takes 10. Yeah, that's as suspected. And this game looks like it's going to get wrapped up here unless Joaquin has something that wipes out everything.
And it's just another forest off the top.
No Sire of Seven Deaths off the top. I don't even know if he has that, but
Star of Extinction. I don't know what else we get to.
yeah. Whenever I think what's the card in Foundations that gets me out of a impossible situation, it's like yeah, it's that stupid Eldrazi thing. Yeah. So Jordan got a better look. I mean, he sideboarded with very little known about Joaquin's deck, though. Of course, he could have looked at his pool as well to
Mm.
know what kind of Gruul deck he was running. Um, yeah. So, like I mentioned before, Jordan's playing a green blue deck. He has five red cards, four of them being removals, the other one being Kellen. Yeah, up at the top he has Coma. He's got extravagant replication, which yeah, just as I said it, he's siding it out because I don't think that card's going to cut it against a Gruul deck that's looking to beat down.
Yeah, Joaquin's taken out. It looks like a Spitfire Legak, and he took out the Firebrand Archer.
Yeah, Firebrand Archer does not seem like a Gruul card at all. Like
No.
I've cut that cards from Is It decks where it's supposed to be the best. Yeah.
Yeah, and he so. I mean, that's what I didn't see what he put in before he took those two cards out. Um, he's
Okay.
taking out a giant growth maybe here is
Yeah,
what he's
the
hovering
Spitfire
over.
Legak is a pretty filler card.
Yeah, definitely.
It's also not got 4 power for the cards that care about that. Yeah,
Okay,
so
he's taking out.
we get a nice game 3 here. Very interesting and very fun game 2. Game 1 obviously not so much, but really really good game we get here, and we get a third one now.
Yep, at last minute, Joaquin put in a second Broken Wings.
Okay, did you see it? Was there a lot of flyers on this side?
I don't
Not
know. And there was
too.
there's the chariot, I guess you saw at the end, right?
Yeah, so Jordan has had to mulligan another non-functional hand of like forests, mountain, and blue cards.
Well, Joaquin's only got two mountains, no other lands, but he's got a Kellen and an Emulator. So
Okay,
that's a pretty
so
good
he's
1-2 start.
yeah, so he's gonna hope to get ahead on the back of that and then draw his lands as needed. Jordan did put a land on the bottom. He does have a land heavy hand here. He's drawing a coma though, so we'll see if he gets to make that work this game. His other cards in hand is Wary Thespian, the Fiery Annihilation, and lands, and a Golden Egg. That's a nice one.
Oh.
That's a fun one. All right, Tolarian Terror is gonna get dumped in the graveyard here, and you know Jordan's looking to trade.
Yeah, I think Joaquin is maybe up for that.
Yeah, this Kellen, it's like this is one of the more awkward because like we've seen these cards before, right? Like the creatures that level themselves up.
Mm-hmm.
This one is so awkward because it doesn't give you a stats boost, and if you activate on turn two and hit your opponent, like you don't get to do anything with the exiled card because you tapped out. Same on turn three. Like if you turn it into a double striker on turn three, you still can't use the card. So just I mean, obviously a very powerful card, but like always feels a little bit awkward that it doesn't get a stat boost on the first activation.
Yeah, and you're putting so much mana into it. But I'm sure Jordan's got to be thrilled at trading this immolator for the Thespian.
Yeah, he's decided to keep called a Marrowleaf Rider on top. So it's a two
Okay.
mana 3/1 with some trinket text here about forcing a creature to block it. All right, so in response to the activation, he's going to yeah. So Marrowleaf Rider is a 2 mana 3/1. It says sack a food. Target creature must block Marrowleaf Rider this turn if able. So I don't know if we'll be seeing that, but Jordan's working his way up to coma here.
Yeah, now Joaquin. So the rest of the cards we haven't said yet. He's got a
Yeah.
Gorehorn Raider, a Grizzled Outrider, and an Affectionate Indrik.
Okay,
So all
so
top end.
is Grizzled Outrider just a 5 mana 5/5?
Um,
It's an
I will
elf.
check
It's like
here.
an elf riding a bear, I believe, in the art.
Scrolling.
I believe it's like just a vanilla 5/5. If it's the card I'm thinking about.
I don't even see it in here.
Yeah, so this Marley Fighter, apart from being a little bit of a dopey 2 drop, I mean, it blocks the Cackling Prowler, which is Jordan's pretty happy about that here. Oh, he's going to attack, and he's going to force a block by sacking the food. So the trinket text came up. He had the food in play.
Yeah,
There
it's a
are a
pretty good
couple
read.
cards that make food in Foundations, but it's not prevalent like it was in Eldraine. But
No.
yeah, I mean, you trade up. I mean, that's like kind of like there's the Outrunners. Speaking of
Yep.
five
There's the
mana
flavor
five
text.
five with a story of some kind, and we are getting a coma next turn here because the Solemn Simulacrum drawn for the turn means line number 7 hits the battlefield. So I don't know what Gruul can do against the coma except attempt to block it, but no
Doesn't
no
sound
no
great.
removal spell in Green Red that I know of is going to get an 8/12 off the board.
No, I don't think the Indrik is going to be able to fight it too effectively.
Yeah, I have had more comas answered than I was expecting when I've cast them in draft. Like people just, they just have their witness protection or whatever.
Mhm. Okay.
All right,
Get the Raider
trades off,
down.
draws the card, Raider 2 to the face, and then Jordan says, yeah, I'm going to be doing this now. Gorehorn Raider was the draw for the turn. That was a card he sided in. That was not in his main deck.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Does Joaquin have like another decent sized creature to at least try and block this coma?
Well, he's got this giant and he's got the Indrik and he's holding up a snakeskin veil, so he
I
could put a
mean
bunch of
that'll.
creatures in front of it.
I mean, yeah, that'll do it. Jordan doesn't have anything to stop Joaquin from just triple blocking. He has a Bone Crusher Giant, but that only deals 2 damage. Doesn't kill any of these things. So he's wondering if he wants to push the issue and trade for 2 things, but he'll figure it out here. He doesn't have too much else going on. He's got the Icewind Elemental. He's got Ambush Wolf, Gorehorn Raider, Bone Crusher Giant. So I mean, they're all useful cards, but obviously Koma's the center of attention here.
Yeah, well, and it's just holding off all of Joaquin's board too, so I don't think he
Yep.
has to push the issue.
So Joaquin has, you said it was an Indrik in hand?
Yep, and a snakeskin veil.
Okay. Jordan was thinking about playing the Icewind Elemental, which he is going to do now, so that's something the Indrik can take care of pretty cleanly. He's trying Bloom trick for the turn, which is another good one here. I imagine
Yeah.
he's going to discard. Oh, I thought he was going to discard the Gorehorn Raider, but it was the Ambush Wolf after all.
Okay, well, land off the top for Joaquin so we can still play the Indrik and hold up the veil.
Yeah, that's going to work. He's going to get this 3/4 off the board. Yeah, I mean, what's like? I don't know what the plan is for Joaquin. Maybe he has. I don't know if he has an overrun in his deck. That would be my first thought about how to take the game back.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little tricky. Okay, yeah. Great play here.
Yeah, and the brutal thing about this is that the Bonecrusher Giant half does not get to go into adventure.
That's
If
right.
if you fizzle the instant or sorcery side of an adventure, the whole thing goes to graveyard. So I mean, it looked like it was a 1-for-1, but it was really kind of like a 2-for-1 because he killed a creature too. Like he took that creature out of Jordan's hand. Yeah, whenever you get a adventure spell fizzled, feels real bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Joaquin's thinking to himself, is there a point where I can attack all? But I mean, we're not there yet.
No, but I mean, it's pretty close.
So Jordan's got a Fabloom trick here, and he's got an Uncharted Voyage that he drew for his last turn. I think he's going to be potentially using that here. Might just like use it on the 5-mana 5/5. Yeah, I was like, what's the best creature to dump away?
Ace is gonna keep it on top. Say, yep, I need
Yeah,
the
like
size.
it's not going to be doing too much, but yeah, okay. He says you no longer have 12 toughness, so I want to attack now, please. Or he no longer has 12 power. Also doesn't have 12 toughness, but he does not have the 12 power here. So now Jordan gets the best of all the worlds because he gets to play his Splash Gorehorn Raider here to kill off this giant, and he gets
Ugh,
4/3/3s. Yeah. So the problem
what
from
a
what
turn.
Joaquin was holding steady when Coma couldn't attack, but as soon as Coma could attack, the game gets completely warped here. So
Yeah, you back up 2 turns and it was just the coma sitting there, and now all of a sudden there's this.
so Jordan's looking at all attack all here. Yeah, opponent's at 12. He can make Kellen a double striker as well.
There's just no good choices here.
So yeah, this went quickly. I mean, once he was able to get something off the board so that the Coma could no longer be bought profitably, that was the end of it here. So
Um,
we see a game that was competitive. Then Coma came down. It it stopped all the attacks and it turned the tide in favor of Jordan M. So congratulations on the win here tonight. We'll be back for our final match of the week a little bit later.